Welcome, everyone, to the audio commentary for Season 6 of Retrospectives Be Damned. Um, this was a really weird season. This is episode 23. And at this point of the season, I had decided to split the 25th episode story across 3 episodes so it would conclude with episode 25. So, really, in a way, episode 23 is episode 25, part 1, and then 24 is part 2, but not really, I guess. But I decided to do that and make it the entire season. Just to do something a little different. Retrospecting my game rooms seemed like a fun idea. This was always the intention for, the last few steps to episode 25. And I realized I had 3 game rooms on the show. So I said, oh my god, this is a perfect way to, count down to 25. Also, I had just moved all my stuff downstairs. The last episode, episode 22, had debuted that, and I thought, man, I should show this off. So that was like another reason to make this last season all about game rooms and my history of them on the show and whatnot. Also, here in this episode, we have short-haired RBD guy. So in episode 22, I wore the wig so that I would look like RBD guy. I had the beard grown out, my eyebrows grew back in from, post-chemotherapy treatments. But the thing is, I had worn a wig for like 6 months in South Florida, where it's like really hot. Um, and just imagine wearing a shower cap with hair on top of it and sweating through the shower cap. That's kind of like what it felt like. So I decided, you know what? I have hair. It's not as long as RBD guy usually is, but whatever. I don't want to wear a wig anymore. I'm just going to do this. And, you could see my in progress growing out hair. So that's why RBD guy has like a new look for this whole season. Originally, I had intended that after these 3 episodes, this whole season was done, I was going to do a special where I would edit all 3 episodes to be one giant episode. But I'll be honest, I've completely lost interest in that, and it's not going to happen. But it would have been, like a what if. Like, what if this was just one giant episode? Almost like a really long episode 25 sort of thing. So the first game room that we show off in this episode was only shown in the pilot, but I still wanted to cover it because I had actually lived there longer at the time of this filming than my second game room, because that's where I lived with my parents from 2002 through 2013. So I had lived there for 11 years, and it just seemed like I wanted to cover it. I just thought, man, that'd be really cool. And I did. I really got to explore the more open space for filming with the new game room. I really didn't do... Well, I sort of did it in episode 22, but for this episode, I was like, oh my god, I have an entire living room that I'm going to film these shows in now. So, I knew where certain things, like I knew I had the couch, I could stand up now instead of sitting like I usually did. And that was fun. That was really cool to be able to do different setups and whatnot while filming. Also, I shot all the footage for this season across a few days. So, normally the schedule is it takes me 3 months to produce 1 episode of RBD, which is why there's 4 a year. Month 1 is writing it, researching it, all that stuff, doing pre-production. Month 2 is filming it and doing VO. And then month 3 is cutting it all together and releasing it and promoting it, or what have you. Here, it was done very differently. I knew that there was only going to be 3 episodes this season, and it was going to be spread out more. So I filmed everything for all 3 episodes. I had written all 3 scripts first, and then I went in and I filmed everything, and then just kind of cut it together slowly across the year and released them, as they were done. So this season was kind of done like an HBO show a little bit, where everything is filmed and then just cut and released. And yeah, that's how this season was done, and that's how this episode was done. So moving on to the second episode of the season, episode 24. Um, this was mostly a voiceover episode that revisited the second game room that had been on the show for most of its existence up to this point. So really, it was just kind of like showcasing as much of the room as I can through archival footage, and talking about it and looking back at it. It's really a clip show. I mean, these episodes, honestly, the first 2 are of the season are clip shows, which I guess just everyone eventually does once you reach a certain point. But what I think is really cool about this clip show is I do kind of stop and I zoom in, and I, like right here, for example, with episode 1, and I talk about, the origins of certain things and stuff that wasn't really focused on the show as we filmed it. Like, a lot of this is stuff that I didn't really talk about, and then now all of a sudden I am. So that was cool. I really enjoyed being able to do that. And the stinger for this episode leads directly into the next episode, which really, this is like a bridge, honestly. This episode is like a clip show bridge that leads into episode 25. So here is episode 25, the final episode of the season, and the special 25th episode. What I had started all the way in episode 5. It covers the newest game room of the show, which it's so funny because looking back at this episode for this commentary, the game room, like, which is our living room essentially, is so different now. Like, vastly, vastly different than what's depicted here. It's just, oh my god, there's so many things that were added. My desk is different, for example. There's floating shelves we have on the walls now. There's arcade cabinets we won in a contest that you kind of see in a pickup shot later in this episode a little bit. It's just, there's shit all over that's different. So the TV is different. Like, it's all extreme. The couch is different. My god, I could keep going. Like, this is not at all what the game room or living room or whatever looks like now. So this episode, like I mentioned earlier, it wraps up the other RBD guy plot that was started all the way back in episode 5. This was the intention. I had always planned it that he would take over, and then he would die, and then, like, you would think he came back, but it was actually another RBD guy, and then here he would actually come back as a ghost because he's dead, and it would bring finality, and it's kind of beautiful that he's a little bit more sane now that he's dead, I guess, and he gets to move on. And that was sort of my plot line. Like, this was the villain of the show, and we literally have him say bye, and then he goes away. And aside from a cameo in the last episode of the show, he which is set in the past, he doesn't come back. It really was intended to be the end for that arc. Yeah, that, it was really cool. I really liked how it all turned out at the end of the day. There's some family cameos here, also intended. Well, except for having a son. I didn't know I was going to have a son when I wrote out this plot, because that happened later. But yeah, my wife makes a cameo, of course, as Becca. That was a necessity. And then my son, who is so tiny in this footage, also makes the cameo, which was really cool. Also, fun fact, this is the only episode of the show, of all 33 episodes, to have a pickup shot. I think what had happened was I had done an over the shoulder shot of Rebecca, and I didn't frame it correctly. And Becca's shoulder was covering most of my face when I was talking, and it just didn't make, you couldn't like, it was just a dumb shot, and it took away from what I was trying to do. So, oh God, excuse me. So, we did do a quick pickup shot, and you could tell my hair is significantly shoulder. And if you look in the background of the pickup shot, you'll see the arcade cabinets I was talking about. But yeah, that was the only pickup shot we ever did for the entire series, just to make the shot a little bit more clear. And I have the little tag here that says end of volume one. My original intention was episodes 1 through 25 was volume 1, and then episodes 26 through 50, I was going to do 25 more episodes, was intended to be volume 2. Um, but we ended with episode 33, and essentially what happened was I just ran out of steam. So volume 2 ended up just being kind of more bonus stuff. I really consider 26 through 32 bonus episodes, and then 33, the final episode, is an epilogue. So the idea changed dramatically. But all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening and watching this audio commentary for season 6. We'll be back with more audio commentaries for the show. Thanks for watching. Take care.